The following Profiles in Caring is brought to you by generous funding from Equitable Life and Casualty, committed to being the premier life and health insurer for the ultimate generation, today's senior American.
Welcome to our show. I'm Kimberly Perkins. When I say the words inner city at-risk teenagers, you likely think of New York City, Philadelphia, maybe Los Angeles. Well, how about Addis Ababa, Ethiopia? This week, the group we're profiling is called S.A.F.E HOUSE Ethiopia. And S.A.F.E stands for Shelter, Aid, Food, and Education. It's a story that we have been following for 4 years. Photojournalist Lynn Peterson has the story now.
I'm happy to see you.
My life sometimes has been a wave that I've just let carry me. And this particular wave happened when I met a gentleman in an airport in Chicago 5 years ago who had just come back from Ethiopia. I had just come back from Hong Kong, and he told me about the plight of Ethiopian children and how terrible they were doing and their lot in life and their hunger and their lack of education. And I told him that I worked a lot of philanthropies in the United States, and if he needed some help, here's my business card. 4 months later, I was off to Ethiopia, finding children to help with this fellow. I've seen poor before, but this is beyond poor. I could take some of our kids and put them in the worst hellhole in the worst slum in America, and they'd thank God that they went to heaven. That's how terrible it is here. Ethiopia, before the 1980s, was actually a developing country and was doing quite well. If you look over here, you can see there's a house. This was at one time a grand house that somebody lived in, and of course it's decaying since the famine. Ethiopia has never recovered. Now if you look behind me over here, you will see somebody's dwelling. They're living in homes that have no electricity, no running water, that are basically made of reconstituted garbage that they've thrown together against some city wall. You go in and there's one bed and there's a family of 7, and you just wonder who's sleeping in the dirt on the floor every night. Imagine a situation where parents are consumed every day. They wake up every morning with one thought: how do I feed my family today? So how do they go out and get a job and scrape together enough pennies, enough coins, if you will, so that their family may eat one meal that day? The vision of the original group was to come to Ethiopia and put girls back in school.
This is a way. I go to school. So early in the morning.
In the 4 years I was with them, we managed to find over 500 girls. We hooked them up with sponsors in the United States, and the function of this group was simply to take girls off the streets and give the family enough money to put the girls back into private school. And some of this was happening in the city. A good deal of it was happening out in the countryside, where the children fare a little bit better. And if children are being asked to leave school to help their family, they're not at risk. They're asked to leave school to work on the farm, to help with the chores, to help with the animals, so that the family can eat. In Addis Ababa, when a kid is asked to go out to work in the capital city, you've got little girls, and they're in the middle of a street. Imagine being on Los Angeles Boulevard, if you will, or being in Manhattan on 34th Street, or being on Woodward Avenue in Chicago, and there's a child out there, 5, 6 years old, in the middle of the street, in traffic, begging for money or going from car to car to car to try to make a 2 cents profit on selling a packet of tissues. The group was doing a good job. They're doing good work. But I looked out there and I said the kids that are most at risk are the kids in the city. And there are thousands of them running the streets. Kids in the city were the most at risk. And I said to myself, I want to dedicate to my life. I wanted to dedicate my work here in Ethiopia to those children that were most in need and most at risk. So what we've done here in Addis is we've created a compound, S.A.F.E HOUSE Ethiopia. Shelter, aid, food, and education. And that sums it up.
We found some of the children on the street. We're driving on the street, and some were begging, some were selling napkins, and some were selling like chocolates and stuff like that. So without S.A.F.E, these children would have been on the street doing bad things.
What do you tell them? You stop the car, you come out, what do you say?
Yeah, first, we will try to talk with their family, mother or father, and then we give them an appointment.
And are they surprised that someone wants to help?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's like winning the lottery, huh?
Yeah, it's like that.
We have three groups of children. We have children that are 4 to 6 years old who have not started school yet. So these children will never know begging. And they will be in school from the first day they're supposed to be in school until the last.
Pepper.
Pepper.
Steve.
Steve.
Ball.
Ball.
We give them like ABCs. They don't know ABCs. They don't know numbers. Yeah. So we do maths, ABCs in their language, Amharic. Yeah. Our language in Ethiopia is Amharic. So we teach them Amharic, English, and maths. Yeah. So like adding, subtracting, stuff like that. ABCs, how to do it, how to say ABC and stuff. We teach them that. Yeah, they're pretty good now.
The second group of children are children that I pulled out of other shelters or found them on the street. These are elementary school children. These are kids who would be 13 years old in the 4th grade, 10 years old in the 1st grade. Why? Because when we find them, they haven't been in school in a few years. And sometimes when they're tested, they really need to start all over again from the beginning. So it's not uncommon here in Ethiopia that kids graduate high school at 20, 21, 22 years old. We have a third group, the teenagers, who are very near and dear to my heart. This was a wild bunch. We took a risk and took these girls off the street. Once we found them and brought them into our program, they're no longer surviving, they're flourishing.
I have a meeting once a week with teenager girls, and we talk about different issues like women issues, HIV, maybe relationship, and they bring their own issue and we discuss according to that. So I think they get so many information about those things from me.
And have you seen them improve their personality?
Yes.
Now they're happy, whereas before they were what?
Yeah.
What were they like before?
Before, I think nobody's talking to them before, but now at least they can get someone to talk to them about different things and listen to them.
And they feel important now?
Yes.
In this culture, nobody ever cared what they thought or what they said. And to see them today, well-groomed, well-dressed, loving each other, working hard in school, seeing for the first time in their life, there's hope. Because with the help of Safe Horizon, they're going to be educated, they're going to be nurtured, and we will sustain this program until each and every one of them is in university or in a vocational school or in gainful employment.
When Profiles in Caring continues, a chance encounter in New York City and its life-saving benefits half a world away. Do stay with us.